Hey there, my viewers out there, and my two number one fans who have been commenting and posting on my Facebook page. I appreciate you. One of them is my husband. So, number one fan that happens to be married to me, and then number one fan that is not related to me who watches my videos and comments. I really appreciate you. Thank you. So, here we are on the Soul Nurturing channel. The whole idea and mission for this channel is to outreach with what I believe is the soul medicine we all need right now, nurturing, and along the nurturing lines are compassion and support, connection and caring, all those things that may be lacking in the world right now, and we need to cultivate it for ourselves and for others. And that's really is my mission. I call myself the soul nurturer because that's the primary focus. So the primary thing that comes up with in my sessions with all my various tools that I have. I'm a transformational hypnotherapist. I've been one for almost 20 years, maybe longer. And studied years ago and through a very intensive 2-year program to learn the ins and outs of hypnotherapy and NLP and everything that comes with that, plus a number of other modalities that at the end of the day or the end of a review, end of the day, I always feel like, did I nurture potential today? That is really my mission. But when I sat down and looked at my collective modalities and trainings and everything, kind of put everything in my basket of goodies, what's the essential purpose for all of them is to help people reclaim potential and purpose. And the soul medicine I do that with is nurturing. Okay, so that said, the idea of these videos is to help you just pause in your life, in your day, and receive. That's the key. Receive something that you need, or that something that might be helpful for you, especially during these times when there's so much chaos and intensity, right? So today, first I wanted to talk about the fact that I mentioned, that I do study astrology. I've been supporting clients with astrology for years. I've studied it since I was a teenager, really. And right now, what's so intriguing is watching this collective transformation happening and the intensity of it, and looking at the astrological weather to see why everything's going the way it is. And to remember, this is key, that this is us unfolding. This is the universe unfolding, God's plan for us unfolding. And just like nature, we have cycles. And that's what astrology really is. It shows us these patterns and cycles, and that they're all of it's purposeful. So maybe like you like me, we're in Mercury retrograde, might transpose some words, might forget some words, might forget what I'm saying. But here's where we are. And what I was going to say is, like me, maybe some of you are noticing it's good to slow down during a Mercury retrograde and really be clear and conscious about what you're saying. But it's not just a Mercury retrograde. We also have Mars retrograde and Uranus in retrograde and Neptune in retrograde. So what I was going to say is, have you noticed, and this is what I've noticed, and I'm wondering if you have as well, feeling a little bit more exhausted, a little bit more fatigued, feeling like, you got a foot on the gas pedal and one on the brake, that stop, start, feeling like motivation's coming, and then it's like, oh gosh, I just can't do it today, right? And also just noticing that some things you thought you dealt with are returning and showing up again, or you can't avoid some of these things. It's kind of on repeat pattern. Using a few RE words, repeat, review. That's what retrogrades are. It's not bad. It's actually a gift, and it's also part of the unfolding, right? We are still in this intense cycle with Pluto and Saturn, all about like really making sure we do this deep transformation, and Saturn wants us to learn our lessons and apply what we've learned. But now these planets in retrograde is really, again, the RE words, review, reassess, reconsider, reevaluate, redo. But some of these, like Mars in retrograde and Neptune, I think, is replenish, restore. And this is what I've been noticing in myself. During this time that we're all in collectively, you may notice some friends are experiencing this very differently. They're extroverts, and maybe they're really, frustrated to be quarantining. Quarantining, is that a word? Quarantini with your martini. No, just kidding. That extroverts are having a hard time. They really need that external connection, and they are external processors, and they really need that stimulation. Introverts, like myself, actually get fatigued by too much external stimulation and need to retreat. But for me, I'm also noticing just another deeper layer of, and this might apply for extroverts as well, but a deeper layer of disengaging. Like, I'm not on Facebook as much. I'm not reaching out to people as much as I would maybe in the past. And hey, I also notice they're not reaching out to me. So this is why I know this is a collective experience. This is another indicator of the retrograde planets. Retrograde is really, again, this more internal, really noticing what's going on here. It's again reviewing the microcosm world within us, so that we can contribute to the macrocosm. So if you're noticing that too, like, oh, I should call this person, I need to do that email, and you're just not feeling it, just know you're not alone, and give yourself some grace. And let's give everyone some grace. I wanted to say this at the top and I went somewhere else, but I really wanted just to say, hey, pat yourself on the back, honor yourself no matter what. We're all doing the best we can in very, very unusual times, okay? So I want to bounce off, though, off of the unusual times and the intensity of these times, and the overwhelm of these times. And the idea of this talk was all about finding the blessings in what's happening, right? So the blessing I talk about a lot is this opportunity, yes, opportunity, capital O, to do your inner work, to really be present, especially now with all these retrogrades. What's coming back up that you avoided before and you didn't look at before, and now it's like right front and center saying, do something different, okay? A little earlier, I did a Sister My Soul recording with my friend Asha, and she was talking about improvising. And the way she was describing improvising, I said, isn't it true that life is one big improv? We're all improvising. However, we forget that, and we stay pretty close to a script, the comfort script, the conditioned script of who we believe ourselves to be and what we believe life to be and what we believe about life, and maybe even the politicians that we're supporting. And same story, same patterns, same beliefs. No, let's rip up the script and create a new script, or improvise a new way of being that supports us and each other. We have that choice. We have that ability. You don't need to do it the old way. In fact, God, the universe, is shaking us all up and saying, please don't do it the old way. The old way is not working. Okay? So here is a blessing in overwhelm and chaos and even stress. When we're overloaded and overwhelmed, and there's a lot of intensity right now, think of it like just like constant information coming. And at some point, our conscious awareness, which is 5% that we're utilizing to navigate this world with our logic and reasoning, our consciousness, that gets kind of overloaded and it checks out. And so when our conscious awareness, the tool that helps us be, lead with our persona, lead with, what we choose that's in alignment with our higher vision of ourselves, perhaps, where we're more respectful, maybe more compassionate, but then we get overwhelmed and we're triggered and we have a few words to say. And Iyanla Vanzant calls it the angry lip monster comes out and wants to get in that conversation, but more reactive. So this can happen because when that conscious awareness kind of checks out, we are, I call it, swimming in our subconscious soup mix. Our subconscious soup, it's like, I picture it's like just, dog paddling in all of this stuff, all that we believe about ourselves and about life, all of our patterns, all of our wounded places, all of our unhealed places. And we don't have the cognitive or the conscious capacity to say, wait a minute, let me think about this. I can see this in a different way. We're more reactive. Now, that doesn't sound like a blessing, does it? Well, no, the blessing is becoming aware of that. And the blessing is we're going to be more present to our inner dialogue, to our negative core beliefs, to the story we've been telling ourselves and about the world. And it's important. I always point out to my clients in like first session, I say, what is the word in the middle of belief or believe? Take a moment and think about that. What is the word in the middle of belief or believe? We have a lot of attachment and connection to the word believe. I really believe this. This is my belief. And we're very passionate about our beliefs. Have you noticed? Very passionate. This is this charged energy that everybody wants their voice to be heard, which, on a side note, is also part of the unfolding, because we're all trying to emerge our authentic self. And how do we emerge our authentic self? Is by listening first to our voice and giving ourselves permission to be more vocal. And so I'm really observing that. When I'm able to just notice and be in the observation with, I love to study human behavior, what's happening now. People are really trying to say it's time to speak up, and they're being more bold and confident, maybe confident, bold, courageous with what message they want to share right now. I think that's just that everyone's trying to reconnect to authentic nature. But before you get to authentic nature, you often are leading with conditioned patterning. So this is what I'm talking about. If we all, everyone said, wait a minute, is this my authentic self? Or is this my conditioned self? And if you listen to what you're telling yourself about what is, here's the hint. If you're running a negative story about yourself or others, that's not your authentic self. If you are feeling triggered and wounded by someone else, that's not your authentic self. If you want to fight with people, that's not your authentic self. Authentic self is aligned with soul potential, is connected to love, and all of the gifts of the spirit. So this is the work. You can watch any one of my videos. I usually talk about this on pretty much every single video. And pretty much I'm reminding myself to do this work too. Every day, this is, where am I with this? So because we are so, it's like, here's a way to describe it. And I remember getting this in a meditation a few years ago, before all of this started happening, that you've heard people that are on a spiritual path say that the veil is thinning. So the veil between the human experience and the spiritual world. But I thought about that. It's like the veil is thinning between our subconscious mind, our programmed human information, and our conscious mind, that logic, navigator for the human experience, and the superconscious, which is our soul potential. It is the higher potential. It is, perhaps some might think of the super consciousness of connecting to God, right? So the veil is thinning, but in this regard, what I'm sharing is that we're going to notice more of our inner subconscious stuff. So back to belief. What's the middle word? Belief or believe? It's not live. And that's what most people say. Oh, believe. The word is live, because we're so pumped up about the word believe, excited about it. No, the word in the middle of believe is lie. L-I-E, lie. How powerful, because you know what the inner work is about, and the work that I teach as a transformational hypnotherapist and soul guide is to check yourself. What lies of the mind are you still believing? What lies were you told, or that you incorporated into your way of being, that were just hand-me-down beliefs that nobody checked, that aren't even true. And not only are they not only true, they're not helping you nor anyone else. So check your beliefs. Why do you believe what you believe? And, go to the core beliefs. Typically our core beliefs are created when we're young and we don't have the cognitive capacity to say, I'm not going to believe that. They are created when we are egocentric in that stage of not understanding this might be my mom's stuff or my dad's stuff. No, we're egocentric. We make everything about us. So that is where we create our beliefs. I back it up a step and I say when a need is not met or met, but not met, say you have a need for connection and it's not happening, you're going to create a belief about yourself that has nothing to do with the other person. We don't understand that yet. It's always about us, and it's always usually not very supportive. So that may look like I need connection and my mom's not available. So the belief, the negative core belief, may be something's wrong with me or I'm not good enough, right? So right now, all of us, I think of it as just kind of, stirring up that subconscious soup mix within us and then in the collective to see the lies of our beliefs or the ugliness of our beliefs, the painful beliefs that we're holding for ourselves and others, for ourselves that are projected onto others too. And it's an opportunity, I call it to catch that belief and reframe it, change it into something that's more supportive, change it into something that's true about you, okay? The voice inside your own mind should be the kindest, most compassionate voice you hear. It starts from within. It starts with you. So practice that. Practice cultivating compassion, self-compassion, and kindness. And when you notice the belief or thought that's going to be pretty alive and active right now, especially if you're triggered, ask yourself if you can put your hand on your heart and just breathe in and say, what's a kinder thing to say about myself? Or what is a compassionate way to view myself right now? Okay. And if you can't get there, imagine what you would say to a friend or what someone who loves you, that you truly and unconditionally know, or that you know that they unconditionally love you. What would they say to you? Receive that and take that in and affirm it over and over again. This is the work. I'm giving you some good tools today, okay? Now, let's take it one step further. Work with one belief at a time. You don't want to overwhelm the overwhelm. But say, for me, one of mine is, it's an old belief. By the way, our old beliefs don't go away with some magic technique. Believe me, I have all the techniques. I've studied them all. I've worked with them all for myself and others. They're like weeds in the garden. They can come back. So whether I'm doing NLP with someone or hypnosis or some cognitive therapy tools, we can neutralize them and we can put something else in their place. But those buggers are going to come back, especially if we kind of go offline and are not being conscious and making choices that support where we want to go, the direction of moving in towards our highest potential and just making those conscious choices, right? So here's the next tip. So you identify the belief. So again, mine that generated when I was a little girl, wanting to help my mom and not being able to. At a very young age, I think I was 6, maybe 7, maybe a little older, but I remember feeling like I was a failure because I was up for a task that was beyond my age of capability. So that's one of mine that comes up when I'm feeling overwhelmed and I don't have the compassionate, conscious awareness to say, you're doing great, you're doing okay. The thought, the belief that I'm failing will come up large, screaming. So what's the opposite? So you just take your particular belief, lie, the negative core belief, and let's turn it into a supportive, I call it empowered belief, or a nurturing belief. So the opposite would be that I'm a success. I'm a success. So here's what you do with the belief that you want to strengthen and support. then you view everything through that new lens. See, our beliefs become our filters. It's the lens we look through. When you have a negative core belief up front and center, it's like that's all you look through. Like every place I look, I see failure, right? But when I take that filter down and choose to see I'm a success, now I can scan for that. Now I can let my reticular activating system, which is the Google search in the brain, go search for where I have been successful and which is going to feel better, searching for where I failed or looking for and identifying where I've been successful. So this is a very simple tool that you can utilize. And during these times of overwhelm, you're going to notice more often than not, you're probably going to be present to the negative core beliefs. Think of it as an opportunity. We can only heal what is revealed. So there it is. Oh, there they are. Okay. Now I can change that. Now I can choose something different. Now I can feel something different. So now, you filter through whatever your new belief is. Then the last step is to ask yourself, how would I be different feeling this, that I'm a success, that I'm good enough? What actions would I take? What patterns do I create around this belief? And then voila, there you are in a new state, a new way of feeling and being. And also, this one other thing that I always offer to my clients is, does the belief help you or hinder you, help you or hurt you? So obviously, thinking I'm a failure is not helping me or anyone, because when I think I'm a failure, I'm not going to do videos. I probably don't want to show up for clients, right? No. When I feel like I have been successful, I am successful, and I can be successful, I show up and I do what I can do, right? And then guess what happens? Then I can have successes with people and breakthroughs with people. So question your beliefs, choose the new belief, ask yourself, is this helping me or hurting me? And then what will be different utilizing this filter, this belief? How does it feel in my body? That's another good one, to take the belief and ask yourself that you identify that first, the negative core belief. How's this feel in my body? Ooh, that doesn't feel very good, does it? And swap it out, pull that weed in the garden and integrate or bring into your being until you can embody it. And this is where practicing over and over again and affirmations and hypnosis and visualization help us get this information to the subconscious mind. Okay, that's what I wanted to share with you today. Again, we want to look for the blessings in the intensity of what is right now. Again, where are you focusing? If you're focusing on what's wrong, you're missing the blessings, you're missing the opportunities. And as we move through this time together, you're going to miss the opportunity to transform. So, take this time. You're getting, I'm sure you're getting messages. It's time, right? I'm sure you are. We all are. Anyway, I send you love, and I invite you to practice some of these tools I just offered you. Put your hand over your heart, connect with yourself, and listen in. And think about, I'm listening to somebody I care about, and that inner dialogue is not very kind. And do your best with compassion and acceptance and grace to first acknowledge what you're thinking, what you're saying, what you're telling yourself. Rip up that script and improvise your way into a new way of being that feels more supportive to your potential, to your purpose, to your life. And from that place, you're contributing something of more value into the world and towards this collective unfolding. All right. Thanks for spending some time with me. Please do subscribe to the channel if you have not. Share it with your friends if you feel it will be helpful to them, and I hope it will be. And comment. The more you comment and like my videos, I understand the more they get out there in the public. So that's my mission. My vision is to outreach and nurture soul potential and to really bring us all back to that higher possibility and purpose for this collective unfolding. We're all in this together. So let's do the best we can with what we've got and be kind and gentle with ourselves and with each other. Until next time, take good care of you. See you then.